you talked about the equipment in the hospitals. Right now, here in Uganda, we currently have like 55 cases, and it's been reported that we have only 55 ventilators in the whole country of over 45 million people. So I'm not sure if our numbers grow, whether we will have enough equipment. So I'm concerned to know what percentage of people need ventilators and how many of those need oxygen as well. So, I mean, I think you have an idea of that.
So in this scenario, I would say 55 is a very reassuring number. And if we make sure that those 55 people, we contact trace all of those people and make sure that we keep them in their homes and safe, and we just monitor them, it's not necessary that all 55 will need ventilators. Okay, so that's something I'd like to tell everybody, that not everybody that gets the virus gets it really bad. We've only got 40 cases in the hospital, Of those 40, only 12 are in ITU, okay? And bearing in mind that obviously if you're a bit older, even if we do lots of procedures, you're not going to cope very well with ventilator support anyway. So in a way, we reserve the ventilator support for people that A, are going to need it the most, and B, are going to be having the best outcome at the other end, you know, because sometimes these procedures that we do on patients, they're so invasive that the procedure itself is harming the patient, you see.
Right.
So that's why it's a question of risk versus benefit. Now, because there's 40 patients in the hospital does not mean there's 40 patients in the whole of the town. There's probably a lot more than that. And most people, if they're coming into hospital, if we're testing them and they're coming back as positive, we're just telling them until their symptoms get really bad, or unless they're elderly people are more likely to sort of get worse very quickly and suddenly. We're telling people to stay at home, monitor your symptoms, and isolate yourself so you do not put anybody else at risk. So that's how we, you know, I'm sure, that's something that everybody knows, that staying at home is the best thing you can do. The minimal contact you have with anybody else, the best thing you can do is that for yourself and your family and your loved ones.
Right. So you actually, I think you already answered this question, but because it came from, you answered it, you know, through what you said, but because it came from somebody on social media, I want them to get it from you. And he sent me a question saying, how are you handling the fear of contracting coronavirus as a medical worker?
I feel that I don't really like to, I always feel scared about the wrong things, first of all. My mum was probably scared more about me getting the virus. I was more scared about how I will cope with so many patients. How will I be able to look after them? That's what I was more scared about. Until now, that's the same thing that if anything, I'm only anxious about that. And as I say, I don't really like the way that everybody else, the whole world and social media is so anxious. I don't think anxiety is helping us, okay? No. I think it's making us feel really down and really negative. We need to focus on the positives. We have to be aware. We have to do the things that are being asked of us. Be careful, but it's no point being scared and living in this fear. It's not a comfortable way to live, and I don't think it's healthy for us either. So in a way, I've been very happy to go back to work, because there at work, as I said, people are a lot calmer and it's more normal there, you see, because everyone's just getting on with it. So that's what I've felt.
Yeah, so you're not friends with fear. Fear is on the side.
I don't think it helps me.
Okay. So, Bhasha, I know you're very informed. You've been watching the news. So currently in New York, COVID-19 is hitting African Americans and Latino communities very, very hard due to, they're living in crowded communities and the virus spreads very, very fast. So here in Uganda, we have similar communities. And I'm concerned because I don't know if it's gonna, like, if the virus hits our communities, how is it gonna be? So, are you finding it similar in the UK?
Yes, in the UK, we're finding it some of the minority communities being affected more. And yes, that's to do with the living conditions that they're and the working conditions that they were having. And also to some degree of some of the health conditions that we already have. You know, some of the things like diabetes, heart disease run a lot more in African American, Latino, and South Asians populations. And diabetes is something that I've been working for anyway. So in this situation, of course, if it comes in, we can't do anything about it. What we can do is the same for anybody. You know, just try your best, washing your hands, don't touch your face. The information is out there. And as I say, being anxious and scared is not going to help in this situation. So when you're anxious, when you're scared, you do stupid things. We all do stupid things when we're scared. You've seen movies scary movies where, you know, some girl runs into a dark alleyway, even though there's a murderer on the leash. That's what people are doing, unfortunately. You know, they're scared and they're acting out in ways that are more harmful for them. So keep your wits about yourself, be informed. The internet is our help. We're watching the news constantly. We know what we need to do.
Right.
So follow those guidelines, stay calm. That's all. I totally understand why people are scared, because they're sitting at home, they've got nothing else to do. They're constantly reading the news.
Exactly.
And they're constantly scared about it. But that's not going to help us.
Yeah. You know, I was speaking to Miss World USBI, and she was telling me she stopped watching the news because every single day there's so many new cases reported, and she's like, oh my God, I'm in danger. Tomorrow, oh my God, I'm in more danger right now. So she's like, I'm giving up on watching the news. I'm just going to focus on doing something else besides, you know, watching the news and social media. So I think you're right. Yeah. I just want to read some of the comments. This is really great. Thank you. Thank you, Tobayo. Thank you for your service, Dr. Bhasha, Miss England. Hashtag frontliner. Thank you, Bussy. Beauty with a purpose. Definitely beauty with a purpose. So, yeah, I'm going to go into the next question, actually, which says that how best do you think the youth should use their time for personal growth during quarantine?
I've been watching some of your series, and I think some of the past people that you've had on, they've had some great ideas about, you know, coping with staying at home and things like that. I think we need to, as I've said, we're all contributing in our own ways. Even all those of us that are creating content online for others to watch, you're contributing because you're keeping people entertained at home. You know, that's a big, big part of this war, is to keep people at home. And the people that are creating art and stuff like that, you are helping in that. And art is one of the best forms of expression that you can have to deal with so many different, like, mental health problems, all sorts. So absolutely continue to do that. If you're a TikToker, do that. If you're a YouTuber, do that. If you're an artist, do that. Dance, sing, do all these things. Through the times of history, whenever they've had problems, we have got and overcome the difficulties by coming together. We can't come together physically now, but we can through social media and stuff, and creating art. You know, even with the slave trade, with the blues music being formed, every time there's a really troublesome time, new art is formed, and such beautiful new creations are formed through that. And if that's one of the ways, of course. And the other, I would say, I've been telling this to everyone, there's 3 things that I've been recommending to everyone: mindfulness, gratitude, and act of kindness. Mindfulness is, you know, you can find online the definition of it and how to practice it. Getting closer to nature, finding ways to become more simpler, leading a simpler life, focusing on the simple things, on the very simple things like the sounds of birds singing and things like that. Really, really positive effect on your brain. Act of kindness. If you have the means or money, donate to charity. There are people right now that do not have the capacity to afford to be at home every day. They can't, they would have not been able to afford this situation. So donate to charity if you can. Even if you're not donating money, if you're going shopping, you're picking up some food, you see someone homeless, give them something, you know, gratitude. So many people have reached out to me and said thank you. I would love for all of you to, if you know a key worker, a hospital worker, a doctor, a nurse, reach out to them, say thank you, send them a nice voice message or something like that, someone you know.
Right.
And I guarantee you all these things are going to, these acts of selflessness, these are guaranteed to make you feel better about yourself. It might not be the solution to every problem,
Right.
but this will add to the positivity of your day.
You're absolutely right. We should definitely say thank you to you, frontline people on the front line. I believe people in the supermarkets, you know, the shopping,
Yes.
the clerks, the cleaners. I mean, you guys are the real superheroes. Like, really, we're so proud of you.